Welcome back to Code With Me videos for Chapter 8. In this video, we're talking about accessibility with our files, specifically this prices page. Now, this may be a little hard to understand because we're not doing anything visually, but this helps search engines and assistive devices know what information is categorized in what area, aside from your standard table header, table body, and table footer. What we're doing here is actually modifying our information with scope and IDs. So the first thing we're going to do is actually go to our sizes area where it says row span, and we're going to specify scope, spell scope right, with row, because we're actually specifying this item, the cup and the cone, right here, as a row. In small down here, we're going to say scope equals col, because we're actually specifying a column for this information, the small, 4, and 350. Now basically, again, there's no visual difference because, let's refresh. There's no visual difference because it doesn't actually do anything visually. But now, a search engine and an assistive device knows where the row is and where the column is based on the information provided. Now what we're going to do is actually identify headers manually, and this may be a lot of work, so try to follow along. The first thing we're doing is under small, medium, and large down here, we're actually going to be adding all this information to this section. The first thing we're going to do is actually delete the scope because we actually have a complex table instead of just a standard row and column. We're actually going to be replacing it with the headers that we're going to be adding. So the first thing is inside the cup and cone, we're actually going to be adding the ID of the same value inside, only because when we're actually identifying the cells, we now have a set column or a group of column that we can identify with. Next thing, we're going to go under these small, medium, and large areas and add specified size and specified type, because if we just see small, is that a small cup or a small cone? Now if we say ID SM cup, that easily lets us know and easily lets search engines know where this falls under. It'll become much more obvious once we add this to the prices. So ID med cup, ID LG cup. Now don't forget, when you're adding the ID, you must have something that is unique to the page, not just the table, not just the section, to the page. Otherwise, the information may not exactly get organized correctly. It may not be found correctly. So in this case, we're going to say small cone, ID med cone, and ID large cone. If we just said small, medium, and large, well, we have a small here and a small here. But by adding the cup and the cone to the ID, now we have something identifiable and unique to the actual cell itself. Next, we're going to go down to ice cream, since it's a table header, add an ID of ice cream. You can add dashes like we did up here, but hey, the word ice cream works just as well. For frozen yogurt, you can say ID frozen yogurt. Ooh, that's a lot. How about, well, let's just say fro-yo. That works, right? Fro-yo? Cool? Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to be finding the small, medium, and large cells, lines 19 through 25, and we're going to be adding headers for cup. Basically what this means is that SM cup is okay, but a search engine doesn't know that SM cup falls under the category of cup. So what we're going to do is actually add the headers attributes, not just header, headers, and list cup. So that way, search engines know this falls under the category of cup. So let's do the rest, headers, cup, headers, cup. And now the next one, headers, cone, headers, cone, headers, cone. So now it's easier to identify how this data is being laid out. Next, let's go down to the prices. Now, if you were to just see $4, what does that relate to? Well, in the table, we know that, that the first $4 under ice cream is a small cup. So what we can do is we can actually go in and say, whoop, headers. We can say ice cream, small, cup, and cup. Or if you want, you can say cup, small cup, ice cream. The organization of the headers doesn't really matter as long as you have all the values inside of the attribute. Next we have headers, if I can spell headers right, ice cream, med cup, and cup. Again, you can rearrange these however you want, or you can modify it, just as long as the values are there. So if you want to, for the last one, you can say cup, large, cup, and ice cream. Again, it doesn't matter. Although for practicality, you may want to make everything semantic so that it's nice and easy to read. Ice cream, large cup, cup. For the next one, headers, ice cream, small, cone, and cone. Headers, ice cream, medium, cone, and cone. And lastly, headers, ice cream, large cone, and cone. There we go. Oh, that's a lot of work. Well, we're almost done, I promise. For the next one, we're going to locate the final 6 cells and do the same thing. Headers, fro, yo, small, cup, and cup. Again, wash, rinse, repeat. Okay. So now that we've added all the information, yes, it looks like a bunch of extra work. We save, we refresh, and again, visually, we have no difference in the table. But if you're a search engine, this is a lot easier to read. Let's get the code. A lot easier to read and organize because you know exactly what category and what section each piece of data relates to. So in this case, if I see $4, I know that $4 relates to ice cream, which is right here, small cup, which is right here, and the category of cup, which is right here. So now I can easily identify what that $4 relates to versus this $4 or this $4. Okay, so that is it for activities 8.5 through 8.9. The next activities will be dealing with fixing old sites and dealing with layout tables. If you have any questions regarding this video or anything in Chapter 8, please send me an email or hit me up on Twitter and I'll get back to you with the best possible answer.